Hello, folks. It's been a while since we've managed to get together for another game of Legend of the Five Rings. Life gets in the way, unfortunately, but we're back. So, as a quick reminder and look back, we don't have a B tonight because she's not feeling particularly well. So we'll wish her all the best for that. But the characters had basically done a lot of investigation, a lot of role play, a lot of lucky dice rolls in managed to get the entirety of the prophecy of Fumiko in regards to where the ancestral sword of the fox is. In regards to the lucky dice rolls, Mr. Ian, playing Akihiro, managed to, in a combat challenge, managed to hit a invisible fox, a Kitsune spirit fox, with a stupidly good roll, and then with an even better roll, only managed to do 3 points of damage as he chose which ones to do, showing not only skill but honor. After that, they got the last piece of the prophecy, and because that was the last thing that Sensei Sayumi had to do, she was actually assisted in her seppuku by Andy's character, Takahiro. Lots of discussions have been had about what they should do in regards to finding the sword, etc. Because of said prophecy. It had been decided that Kitsune Ryoshi, the daughter of the Kitsune daimyo, was to approach her father to explain what they had found, argue that she had completed her Genpuku because she has found the sword, just not the physical aspect of the sword, thanks to um, the members of the Boar Clan. Everybody's having a good night's rest, and Ryoshi will be returning in the morning to let them know what her father has decided. And with that, we shall introduce the characters. Starting with the two that were mentioned, we'll start with Mr. Akihiro, played by Ian. Please introduce yourself and Akihiro.
I'm Ian. I play, as Tom says, Heichi Akihiro, who is the slightly socially awkward, sullen swordsman of the party. That's about it.
Okay. Mr. Andy.
Hi, I'm Andy. I play Takahiro, who is the extremely proud, noble swordsman who can actually talk to people. He's very good at talking to people. He is, in fact, the leader of the party. No one else appears to realise this, but that's just his subtle courtier skills.
Mr. Ben.
I'm Ben. I play Heichi, the Zen tattooed order monk.
Mr. Ken.
Hello, I'm Ken. I play Heichi Takahashi, one of the Autumn Shugenjas, along with the amazing Bee, who is also he's usually here, but she's the other resident mate. We don't need anyone because they're our lackeys.
Fair enough. And finally, Mr. Kyle.
Hi, I'm Carl. I play Heichi Ryutao, the samurai archer, the one that doesn't worry about sword skill.
That's fair. And also the potential love interest for Kitsune Ryoshi as well. I'm sure that Takahiro and Xiaofan have been plotting about how to make a wedding possible.
I would not be shocked.
Isn't that right, Mr. Andy?
A wedding's always been possible. It's just a question of manipulating the groom so that he's compliant.
Fair enough. Is there a anything in particular that you wanted to do in the evening, or were you just resting up and waking up the next day?
We're staying in a tavern, aren't we?
Yes, you're staying in the tavern in the village.
Yeah. There's nothing special I want to do.
Okay. Anybody? Nope.
Nope.
I've forgotten what we were doing, so I just
It's been a while.
I think
We've slept since.
a good
We're
night's
getting
rest.
old.
A good night's rest and plenty of food, and I'll give my
What are you
servant
saying?
my various bits of clothing and stuff to launder and make it look perfect and so on. We'll also ensure that
Fair enough.
Ryutao looks well presented as well.
We're going to have a night's rest up, so we'll get all of our spell slots and everything. I don't think that I can't remember. I don't keep notes. B's my note keeper.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah, basically, all your spell slots renew every day anyway. So.
Yeah, I've got. We've got all the clues, haven't we? So we don't need to worry about any of that.
Yes. All of the prophecy is now in your journals, and I've been nice and I've done it onto like a single handout, so you don't have to keep trawling backwards and forwards through it. Okay, in that case, next morning, about mid-morning, Ryoshi and her bodyguards, Dero, actually appear at the inn and ask to speak to you all in private, if possible. There is a small garden out back, which you've got full access to. When you all gather there, she looks at you with a slightly pained expression. And she says, I'm not going to hold you to what you said, but my father has said that he wants the sword returned to him. He believes that the sword was protected by the fox for a long time, and Fumiko was wrong in her prophecy, and it will continue to be protected by the Fox Clan themselves. Not having the sword on his hip when he attends court is an embarrassment for the clan as far as he's concerned. He wasn't very gentle either about it. He was quite insistent about the return of the sword. So tomorrow I will be leaving for the Cinnamon Forest with Dero and the notes that we had to find the realm of silent waters. I would ask that you would accompany me, but I will not hold you to anything if you do not wish to accompany us in this matter.
I think our decision has already been made, has it not? I should say to the group that we have already decided, and we would not besmirch the honour of our clan by changing what we said previously. And I shall just look to everyone to confirm that we are all still of the opinion. So was that nod?
Yeah, I'll nod.
Yeah.
Did we have amongst us? This is the next morning, is it now, Tom?
Yes. Yeah.
Did we have a discussion amongst ourselves what we would do in this situation where he wanted the sword?
Yeah, we I think we've already agreed between us. We're convinced that he's something's at play with him making it.
Yeah, but what are we going to do about it? Have we agreed what we are going to do about it, or have we?
I thought we'd agreed that we were going to go and try and ensure whatever plot is wanting it back, we try and defeat.
Yeah.
So yes, we are participating. Is that my
Does that
understanding?
entail giving him the sword back, or holding onto the sword to try to break the plot, or what? Have we got that far, or are we just seeing what happens?
You decided that you would give it back and then react to his actions when he receives it. That's as far as it got.
Right. Okay.
Because you've got no solid evidence of what's going on apart from what I think it was Akihiro who saw this.
And he hasn't passed any further information on, has he? No.
Oh, that's it.
I can't
Yeah.
remember. Ian,
No, Akihiro hasn't passed that on. I don't believe.
No.
Sorry,
You
what?
observe
What?
You observe something with.
Oh,
You observe
I
something
heard
with the
something.
way.
No.
Heard something or observed something with the way that the daimyo reacted. But you.
He observed a guy dealing with. There was a guy in the garden that he overheard talking about. He saying that he must have a sword and blah blah. There was plots afoot, but they haven't told us about that.
Yeah, in fairness, I probably would have done once Ryoshi wasn't with us.
Yeah, because I think that was the
okay,
reason you
so
weren't.
Yeah,
we
because
can
we was
do a
all in a
bit of
group
a
still.
yeah, we can do a bit of a flashback to the nights before, and you can have that discussion now, and then we'll fast forward back to this point again.
Okay.
So, diddle-loo, diddle-loo, diddle-loo.
What did
Weeks of game gap.
Yeah. What did
Yeah.
so? What did the man say, or what did you overhear?
Let's do Akihiro. Let's Ian speak and do what Ian tells us he heard, and then we can discuss.
You
Yeah.
can try that. You're based on Ian remembering what was said.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, Tom, right?
Okay. So, basically, you saw two figures in the garden. This was late at night, and it was shadowy. You didn't make out any faces, but you recognised the daimyo's voice. The daimyo was insistent that plans were in motion to get the sword back. This other person emphasized how important it was that the sword is returned to the daimyo. And it also emphasized how important it was to not just the daimyo, but the Fox clan in general. He seemed to be speaking to the daimyo from a position of authority or power, but that was all. If I remember correctly, that was all that you could work out.
And I think
Yeah.
that was the thing that was the most suspicious, wasn't it? Was the fact that someone seemed to be more senior, someone seemed to be bossing the daimyo around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels right.
He says with no idea. He's slept since then.
Yep, most likely. I hope he slept in the last 4 weeks.
Tells us.
Yeah. So I'm assuming Akihiro goes blur what I just said.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
He probably would have made sure that we got somewhere private, not overheard. Certainly
Well,
no one.
Xiaofan can do a masking.
Yes.
Can't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she can. And she probably would have at this point.
Yes, definitely for this. Right. Well, that proves. Then I would say that he is under the influence of someone, something. Maho is my guess. Blood Speaker or something similar. We can't let this sword get into his hands or leave our sight if it does.
So then, should there be some kind of once we obviously know this happens, but was just speculating the night before. Should the daimyo require his daughter to go and retrieve the sword, we're going to go help ensure that it does get retrieved, and then also therefore be present when the daimyo is presented with it, so that we can then resolve any situation that arises by that, and hopefully we won't shatter the relationship between us and the Fox Clan in the process. Yeah.
Yeah. My concern is we are only Bushido, is that right? Bushi. We are only Bushi.
Yeah.
He is a daimyo. We will have to save face and honour the status. If we give him the sword, we are then reliant on him being in a state where we can do something about it. For example, if we gave him the sword and then he banished us from his presence, he is a daimyo, and if we don't want to break face with the clan, there is nothing we would be able to do.
We're technically
but we can't.
Hatamoto, so we're honoured advisors of the boar, but your point is still correct.
But it's correct regardless what we do.
Yeah.
If we in some way stand in the way of him getting the sword back, that's not going to put us in any better position.
True.
I think we just got to go and rescue it and then play it by ear from there, to be honest.
I'm guessing the only person who can challenge his authority would be Ryoshi, who's his heir. If what he suggests or does is seen as anathema to the Fox Clan, she may be able to step in.
There is, out of character, Tom, are there any instances or events, scenarios, something where one can challenge a daimyo somehow? Not challenge necessarily with a sword fight, but maybe that's what it comes to. But I'm thinking on the lines of Shadowland Taint, Blood Speakers, stuff like that. Is there precedent for calling him out somehow?
In regards to Taint and being a Maho user, being a Maho user or being tainted, yes, there are precedents. Usually by Jade Magistrates or the Kuni Witch Hunters. Now you also know that in Rokugan, it's more about who says what than evidence. The Dragon Kitsuki are the only ones who are trying to push for an evidence-based like trials, etc. Otherwise, it can be a case of so accuses you, and you have to, ignore it or refute it or fight for it. People have been. Well, there was the 5 Nights of Shame that happened when the Phoenix came along and wiped out a minor clan, which was the Snake Clan, I think it was, and that was a few hundred years ago.
What clan? Sorry.
Snake.
Snake. Okay.
Snake, yeah. There's something called the 5 Nights of Shame. Ken would know this because the entire clan was accused of being Maho users. So the Phoenix came along and basically wipes out the clan because of that accusation. And you're not sure of any more details than that.
Right.
Um,
So there is precedent for the thing.
Yes.
I mean, from what you're saying, it's normally official people who would do it, but we're not in a position to go and wait and go and get something like that. It's potentially potentially we could save face if I came out and said you're a Maho user, and then it was, and we proved it or whatever. That if we were right, that could potentially save face and do the right thing. Not that I don't think that would work, because I don't think he's got Maho taint. I think he's been used, so I don't think that would work. I'm just trying to ascertain what's.
So if you say you accused him of being a Maho user and being tainted, as a former Kuni, the simplest way would be to test them with a stick of jade. And see if that hurt them or turned black or whatever. You also know that accusing somebody of being tainted or Maho is a very serious thing, and if you're wrong, you're fucked.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
So, but in this regard, has anybody got law LAW as a skill?
No, I don't think so.
Don't think so.
Can you check B's character?
Yeah, I'll just check that actually.
No. I can add it in if you give me a couple of seconds. We're at 10.
I don't think she has.
No, I don't have it.
No. B doesn't have it either. Okay, in that case, whoever wants to can give me an etiquette roll. It's going to be quite a high target number because it's the. I'm going to say it's because it's not direct, but there's going to be a target number of about 28. Because it's not like general court the etiquette. It's it's something else.
This is the night before, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll have spent a void point as well.
Yeah, no problem. Okay,
that adds
25.
That adds one, keep one, doesn't it?
Yes, so you need to roll another one.
Okay, and that's trained. Oh, where have I gone?
I'll take the 38 exactly. How do you go from 8 keep 5 to 7 keep?
No.
Ryutao. Sorry. Ryutao. Mate.
Shocker.
Ryutao.
Bloody hell.
Okay. Yeah.
I spent a void
He
point, by the way.
exploded twice. One of the. Sorry?
I spent a void point, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that many dice.
I was going to say, but 27 on one dice is cool. Right. Okay. Both of you will know that realistically, you were right in thinking that Ryoshi can challenge her father, and in various ways, and she can effectively force him to retire, shave his head and become a monk, and relinquish the rulership of the clan to her. Hatamoto can also do something similar, but they would do it on behalf of a family member, usually. There have been instances where Hatamoto have done it for the good of the clan. Usually they put a family member in, but sometimes they've taken over as well instead. Or named themselves regents whilst that family member is growing up and, not be an actual regent, but be a bit of a tyrant. But
That raises that raises.
there are.
Sorry, just a very quick question. Are there any other family members besides Ryoshi?
There are. Ryoshi does have a couple of cousins.
Okay.
But they are young.
Okay.
As in less than 12.
Okay, thank you. Just in case Ryoshi dies while we regain the sword.
I mean, could we not find the person that's controlling the daimyo
Yes.
and deal with them? Because that would be a lot less politically unstable.
Very good point, Ryoshi. I'd had completely lost track of said person.
So, Akihiro, what else do you just remember? It was a male voice, wasn't it? That was you're muted in.
Yes, it was two male voices. So the daimyo and someone I didn't recognise.
But someone who was giving him orders.
It wasn't direct as orders. It felt just a bit as someone who was talking from a position of authority.
Would you say that is something like a Shugenja's ability of kind of controlling speech, that kind of authority, like overpowering the daimyo, or
There's a reason why I carry two swords and don't deal with magic. I have no aptitude for that. There was two people talking.
right.
And you've not the other voice. You recognise one as a daimyo. You've not heard that voice from anyone here in the Fox.
Out of character, I'm not sure I made a roll or even, but my impression was I didn't recognise it.
I think he did make a
No, he
roll.
didn't.
Oh, he didn't. Okay.
No, he did make a roll, but he didn't recognise it. The voice was quite distinct. You would recognise the voice being used again, but you had not heard it up until that point.
Right, okay.
What?
I guess it's no one I've come across up till now.
I don't suppose our Shugenja brothers have anything to help kind of...
That's what I'm trying to think of.
Draw out the memory.
What was... Well, that's where I'm going with this. What was the... Can you remember what was... you said the voice was distinctive. What actually was distinctive about this? And out of character, I've got a prayer called Mental Quickness, which adds to a target's intelligence, which might help him with some memory roll.
That would be useful.
We could try.
That would be useful.
Are you willing for that, Akihiro?
I trusted you up till now. Why am I going to stop?
Okay. I'm gonna call on Mikami to put mental quickness on it. There's no raises for it at all. So it's a level 2 prayer. Adds 3 to your in intelligence. Last 10 minutes. That's as long as we need for to want to remember. I believe. Let me just do it.
It does what? Adds
3 to your intelligence stat
okay.
for the duration of the spell. And now I start Tom to ask for whatever it is to try to remember anything. We can ask anybody. Ask Akihiro questions. He's got this boost for a while.
Ask me questions and I will interpret them. If you do a... Oh, okay, so you can give me like a straight intelligence roll or... Yeah, give me a straight intelligence roll just to see if you can remember stuff. Well, yeah.
You can remember all the plants, what they were. You can remember where all the stars were.
Oh,
Raining over there.
oh my life. What is going on? Right,
That's with a
okay.
1.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. 65. Ask your questions, and I will give you everything related to those questions.
Can you remember what was distinctive about the voice that you heard?
Yes. It was whispery, slightly gravelly, and there seemed to be like on the edge of hearing. You didn't catch this originally, but now that you think about it, on the edge of hearing, there's like an echo of what was being said, or like a time delay, like a repeated delay of about half a second, slightly quieter.
I did distinctly see 2 separate people, though. I know I heard 2 voices, but did I see 2 people? I couldn't see them in detail, but there's definitely 2 figures. Yeah.
Yes, you one was you definitely know was the daimyo because you recognise the voice, and the other one was this person telling the daimyo what to do. Like I say, it was whispery, it was gravelly, and whatever it said, there was like a half-second delay, and it was repeated, quieter as well. You didn't twig it at first when you first saw it, but you did. Now that you think about it, and now that you're under the effects of this spell, yeah.
Does that make me, or can I make a roll to see whether that would be any side effect of any prayer or controlling magic? Or my one thought was that the guy, whoever it was speaking, was a vessel for somebody further away. We know that there's this lot that
Give me a
working against
spellcraft. You can give me a spellcraft roll.
So,
In fact, I'll roll for Xiaofan as well.
Tom, did you say a slight echo to the voice?
Yeah.
Yes, it's like a half-second delay behind what was being said. It was being said again. Ooh, you couldn't see the face, so you wouldn't be able to tell if there was a mask. Oh, for fuck's sake! Really? What is going on today with your rolls? You guys are rolling like crazy.
Okay, who's bribed? Roll 20.
That's what I was doing.
You were hacking it.
I was hacking roll 20.
Okay. I'm just going to roll for Xiaofan as well, see what she gets. Okay, sure. It's not a spell that you recognize, and even with your deficiency within air spells, it's not a spell that you recognize. Xiaofan doesn't recognize it either. It's not like a Whispers on the Wind or anything like that. You haven't heard of this effect before.
Okay. But
However,
it doesn't mean it's not that guy.
yeah. However, you can make a roll on Shadowlands lore because you've been talking about Maho and Taint and so on.
Could be a Maho creature.
Yeah.
Law.
Can I put 2 and 2 together and make 5?
Of course you can. I like 5.
We've heard about something called the echoing hunger, and we've got a voice echoing. Could they be connected? What do you think, Akihiro, Mr. Highly Intelligent Person?
I feel you are adding 2 and 2 and getting 5.
Okay.
With the 22, there is something niggling on the back of your brain.
Can void be used after a roll to re-roll it or something?
No. You have to do it before the roll.
Okay. So there's something nagging at my brain. I can't think of specifics, but it implies that there's something that I've heard before that does fit this, but I can't actually bring it to mind. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll say that to the others. The Akihiro's talking about that slight echo delay. That is some kind of Shadowlands creature or ability or something. I'm sure of it. I just can't remember what. Can't remember details. But it is definitely something Shadowland.
You need to hold the same thing that Akihiro is holding.
I'm saying if you asked Akihiro, he might remember it for you.
It's actually.
I mean, you can cast that spell on yourself.
I think it is. Actually, I didn't read it. Imbued into a physical object, so he can pass that on. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. So.
Yeah.
Would that have made any difference? It would have done, wouldn't it?
You can remake the roll, but adds 3 to your intelligence.
Should I just roll 3d10 to keep it fair, so it doesn't change those?
No. Just this is now a give me that. You've had the niggle. Now you're trying to rack your brain. So just roll it again with a bonus 3 to roll.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Suddenly feel so dumb.
Okay. A name comes to mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Kyofu no Oni.
Do you want to put that in the chat?
Okay.
Please.
No worries. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing, but he's definitely no Oni. Yeah.
There you go. Roughly translates
he's an
to
Oni.
the Oni of desperate hope. Okay.
Yeah. What do I know about that?
Okay. Well, you've got 63, which is ridiculous. So I'm just going to give you everything, boss. Okay, hang on.
You do realise what this is going to mean when it comes to combat. We're going to get a TPK.
Oh, yeah.
We're rolling great when it's not in combat.
Yeah. Right. That's the text, but I'll read it out as well. Okay. Unlike most Oni, The Kyofu no Oni was not summoned by a Maho Sukai in pursuit of power, but emerged from the spiritual scars left by history. So it's one of the rarer types of Oni. It first took shape during the fall of Shiro Shimizu, where an entire clan died besieged, praying for rescue that never came. Their desperate hope, prayers not for glory or vengeance, but simply to be remembered to die with purpose, was twisted in the realm of evil into a new form. Jigoku had heard bloodthirst before, but this plea for meaning in death was something else, something rare. And so, from the spiritual residue of broken oaths, grieving hearts, and futile last stands, Kyofu no Oni was born. Kyofu's power lies in the cruel inversion of hope. He doesn't dominate through strength alone, but by offering salvation. The chance to live long enough to save a loved one, the power to restore a legacy tarnished by lies, the illusion that death might still mean something. And the price? Always the same. Your purity, your code, your soul. But at the moment the offer is made, it's wrapped in such poetic seduction, many don't even realize what they've accepted until it's too late. Kyofu can appear as a tattered priest offering a final prayer on a battlefield, a shadow behind a shrine whispering to a kneeling samurai, a massive Oni born for the corpses of the fallen, draped in the banners of fallen causes, and others. His voice is a chorus of the forgotten. It speaks in the tones of old friends, dead children, lost commanders. Every word is tailored to pierce the listener's heart. The major sightings of it have been at the Battle of Seven Pillars in the Isoa province. A lone survivor spoke of a ghost with 100 flags offering mercy to the dying. The Ronin who accepted lived briefly, but his family was never seen again. Crab scouts at the wall have found ravished Shadowlands patrols with perfectly intact jade amulets, but faces twisted in bliss, not fear. And Scorpion records mention the bargain at Kabe Mura, where a village defended itself past reason. All died, but their bodies were found kneeling, not fallen, hands pressed together in a final prayer. Yeah.
So, do I think then that this figure that Akihiro saw is this Oni, or that they're using this Oni? What's my assumption here, or is that up to me?
That's up to you. I will actually show you guys a picture if I can.
Picture.
Because you got that stupidly high number. And then I'm just going to do the bio. I think I can just show to players.
Oh my god.
There you go.
Ooh,
Bloody hell.
That's metal.
63.
that's metal
Yeah.
as hell.
In each of those shards of mirror, you can see like pictures of people.
Right. I'm going to summarize this for the group. I'm not going to read it out.
And please summarize it as Ken. Ken, please summarize it as Takahashi. And then
Okay.
everybody can have that as well. In fact, I'll create a handout for you with all that info.
Yeah. Do you want me to do it? Okay.
Yeah, I want you to do it how Takahashi would do it. And then I will create the thing.
So this, thank you for the intelligence, Akihiro. I can remember now. This reminds me of this delay and this voice. It's the voice of an Oni known as Kyofu no Oni. He's known as the Oni of desperate hope. he otherwise known as Bargainer of the Damned. It gets people to accept its a what's it called, a transaction, a pact. It gets
Bargain.
people who are desperate to accept a bargain and a pact with it that won't ever come to fruition, but they think it will. It's a last hope. For example, in this instance, I think it's the sword and getting the sword back. It's giving this last hope to the daimyo, but it's never comes through. It's always lies, and but it's done so well that the person doesn't realise this. The Oni can appear in different forms. Ones I'm aware of is a tattered priest or a shadow behind a shrine. I believe this is the figure that Akihiro saw talking to the daimyo. There's been various mentions of it, sightings of it, all different. Some the residue, the after effects of it. That's really it feasts on false hope. Needless to say, this is also involved with a sword that we cannot let get in the hands of an Oni. So it's kind of a double problem. I think we need to find the Oni and destroy it. I'm not sure if that will break the or what. The thing can change shape. The thing's been seen in different sizes. Like I said, the tattered priest, a shadow behind a shrine. In its natural form, it's a giant Oni that looks like death, with a headdress and floating mirrors around it of all the people that it's conned and tricked, stuck in limbo and cursed. Yeah. So there's that.
So does this change our plan at all?
Have we got the ability to face this Oni?
We've fought Oni before.
Yeah, this one seems very singular, very powerful.
Okay, Ken.
Yeah.
Because against stupid rules, this one is not invulnerable. This one can be hurt with normal weapons, but it is vulnerable to jade and sacred weapons.
Right.
Yep. It deals mainly in the shadows in the background, but it has, it has got a physical form and it can be destroyed. So it can be disincorporated back to Jigoku. Yep.
What would that?
Or
Sorry, Karen.
Or it can be banished as well, either back to Jigoku, or you can attempt to destroy it, but usually that's a very involved sort of thing and potentially above your pay grade because it is a named singular Oni. It is not Oni spawn. You've faced a lot of spawn in the past. You haven't actually faced a actual full-blown Oni yourself.
So both the banishment and the killing its material form, for want of a better word, are kind of the same thing, aren't they? They send it back to Jikoku and it just
Yeah.
reforms. What would that do in terms of this pact that it's made? Would it break the pact, or would it just come back and carry on later?
No, the only it banishing or destroying the physical form will not break the pact because the creature has not died. Yep.
Yeah.
You're going to have to make some more rolls if you want to work out a way of breaking the pact.
Other than destroying it.
Yeah.
What does it destroying it normally entail? Obviously, you have to kill its physical form, but is there a ritual that you have to do? Is there?
Yes, there's a full ritual, which
A bit like the banishment prayer, but more powerful.
yes, you have to basically trap them. You have to trap their form and then do a full ritual. And it is possible, but you've only ever heard of it being done by. Well, actually, you're a rank 4, so yeah, so you would be up there back in the Cooney school on like the hierarchy of power. However, a person soloing it, we're talking
Yeah.
legendary people at solo.
When you say solo it, what do you mean? Because I mean, we'd be doing it as a group. Do you mean solo from the ritual?
You would, from the ritual point of view, you would have to have probably 5 or 6 Shugenja
Right.
doing it.
Yeah.
Of equal power to you, roughly.
We've potentially got that in the Kitsu, haven't we? They've got a lot of Shugenja. They're very powerful with Shugenja, aren't they?
Yes, they have got some Shugenja. They are known for being Shugenja.
Yeah.
Whether they have enough people, because rank 4 is actually quite hard to get to.
Yeah.
Most people don't get past rank 2. Maybe they'll hit rank 3, but most people don't get past rank 2 unless they've done the same amount of stuff that's happened in your past 2 years in their lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Can we circle back to the breaking of the pact? Because I think that might be a weak point that we could exploit.
Yeah.
You can definitely make another roll. This would be a theology roll.
Yep. Okay.
Was theology intelligence as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you've added the extra 3 on, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake, you guys are just rolling like crazy. You have to find out what the wording of the.
Put the prayer up.
I love the fact that we have a literal plot stick.
Yeah, you have a literal plot stick. It's ridiculous. I didn't even know that spell existed, to be honest with you, but it's scary. Okay. Well, this is just okay. No problem. It's kind of like legend lore in D&D. Right. Okay. But more powerful. Yeah. You would have to find out what the wording of the pact is. You be able to break it. There are ways of breaking pacts. There are always loopholes in it. But you would have to find out what those things are, and then there would be some sort of symbolic ritual to do so, depending on what those loopholes are.
Right.
Can I just be clear? When we took the pact, are you meaning the pact between this Oni and the Demo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So to do this, we're going to end up having to accuse him of being in a pact with an Oni, which surely falls along the lines of saying he's a Maho user or is tainted.
Are we? Do we have to get him involved at all? The Oni has got a pact with him. We've got to find the Oni and break the pact. That doesn't necessarily have to be done anywhere near the daimyo. I don't know what's involved yet. It might do. Doesn't have to potentially be done anywhere near the daimyo or with the daimyo involved.
No.
It's the Oni that we have to do it to, not the daimyo. Potentially.
If you find out what the pact is, you don't have to have either party around, because you'd have to find out what the loopholes were. But if you find out what the pact is and then work out what rights you would have to do to break that pact, you may or may not have to have either party in there.
Right. Okay.
It does depend on what the pact is.
What the pact is, yeah, which we might be, like Akihiro says, we might end up after all this having to be the daimyo under fire, so to speak. But let's not worry about that just yet. Okay, so what's involved for? So it's going to be me and Xiaofan trying to research this, isn't it? It's not. I guess we're having a late night whilst you guys get some rest. Or is this something we can do?
This is something that you guys would have to just like work out. Like I say, until you find out what the pact is, there's nothing more you can do.
So,
Yeah, okay.
so should Ryoshi come and ask us to accompany her to retrieve the sword, just in case that possibly happens?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we're sort of. I think to understand the pact, we're better off participating in this quest to try and understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it. That's good though. We can try to work out what the pact is. We need to work out the pact before we give the sword. But we're going into the Shinman, aren't we? So we've got time potentially to work things out.
Yeah. You have time.
Although we're going to struggle to work things out away from this place, because this is where the Oni is and where the daimyo is and where the clues are.
Sorry, is the Oni here? Has he not got the ability to come and go
probably.
as they please?
Yeah. But then where? I'm just thinking,
Well,
finding.
Okay, the thing that made you realise that the Oni was this specific Oni, or the other voice was this specific Oni, was the slight echoing effect. Yeah.
Yes.
So, what is it? Is that just the way this creature talks, or does that tell us anything else? Does that mean it's because it's not present and it's able to echo its voice from through some vassal that is here?
Do I know that, Tom?
Okay, so the Oni, while it has people doing its bidding, usually when pacts are formed, so in every instance that a pact has been formed, the Oni has been there itself. Where it is when it's like checking up on the pact, if it was given if it gave a timeline or something, but it does have some minions, but very few, and they are all Maho Sukai, who have also entered into a pact with the Oni as well.
And each of its forms represents some kind of false hope, doesn't it? Like the tattered monk and the multiple the banners.
Yeah,
The shadows and
Like, you know, there's this the hope. So if the hope in this case is based around getting back the sword and regaining honor for the line or something, it's something like an advisor or something regal, something, you know, something that,
Yeah,
that screams.
Didn't we ascertain from Ryoshi that or did I ask that the daimyo had a visitor? No, I asked, but we didn't get anything specific. But he has had visitors recently.
Wasn't
but
there a very
I think
attentive maid?
there is a very attentive
Yes.
maid since he has become sick.
But didn't he slap her away?
Mm.
Yes,
And it was a male
because
voice.
It's a male voice.
she was fussing about over him.
I mean, if you're in a pact, would you slap the person that's giving you the power or the hope?
It's also, from what you're saying, it's the sorry, I can't, only of desperate hope, but it's almost like the last chance saloon. It's always giving some that one last glory. What is it that giving the daimyo the sword doesn't feel like that, unless obviously the Oni's got a wider purpose, or it knows something that the daimyo doesn't. Obviously, all the examples you talked about were giving some that last chance to do something before they give up, or they have to give up.
he's old, isn't he? He's old. His clan hasn't got this sword. It's his last chance to save face and get his name in the history books as bringing the clan sword back. He's trying to find it his whole life, I believe. It's his last chance, maybe before he dies of old age
And
or hands over to Ryoshi.
Yeah, his legacy.
So, what does the Oni gain from the pact?
The Oni's going to get the sword and then use
But
it
no,
to unleash.
that's not
Gets
that's
their
not
souls,
normally the
doesn't it?
price.
Sorry?
They get his soul. They get his soul or his purity, not the sword. Does the Oni want the sword, or does the Oni just want his soul? Because that's its raison
True.
d'etre.
Yeah, but once it has his soul, then it has a follower who also happens to have a sword that has a evil spirit bound in it. So, you know,
And it's
I
an Oni.
will. I will give you this. If you remember the prophecy, there is something in the prophecy about what is held with the sword.
It's a black scroll, isn't it? But is
Yeah.
there any connection between the Oni and black scrolls?
So the blacks, you've already had this info. So the 12 black scrolls, each of which contain a shard of Fu Leng's power,
Yeah.
and as in some Shugenja in the past, pretty much shattered Fu Leng's power at one point and bound it into these 12 black scrolls. Some are, I can't remember how many exactly off the top of my head, but some are known and kept by some of the major clans. Some have never been found, or they don't know where, or they don't know where they are. this is one that, with the roles that history stuff they've done before, you had not been aware of. So it would gain access to a black scroll.
A shard of Fuleng's power, which would make it even more powerful.
Am I correct in assuming that all the Oni ultimately serve Fuleng?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I thought that was the case. Trying to check.
Mhm.
So we don't want that. But that would explain
And is
why.
the
Go on.
black scroll in the sword, or
It's the sheath, isn't it?
part of it or something?
Part
It's
of
the
Yeah,
sheath.
in the scabbard. Yeah.
Can the sword be drawn without releasing the? It must be able to, because we had this conversation before, haven't we? Otherwise, it'd never been able to be
Yes.
used.
Yeah, the sword has been drawn several times.
So, if we return the sword but not the sheath, but is it the sword that holds?
The sword, apparently, it's the sword that holds it in.
It's a key almost to it. If you
If you hadn't actually worked that out, so I watched the playback of the last thing, and you had this similar discussion. You hadn't worked out the link between the sword, if there was a link between the sword and the black scroll. It could just be that the scroll is hidden in the scabbard. It could be that the power of the sword is keeping the scroll hidden.
We do know though that the last paragraph here, I'm just rereading it. Scroll and the sword must stay as one, which that negates the whole thing that
yeah,
it must be the sword that is keeping the scroll bound somehow. Maybe when you draw it, because you're holding the same person is holding it, it's kind of bound. But if you took it further apart or something, or for too long, it wouldn't keep it. Well, yeah, we don't know exactly, but it does clearly say. It would be bad.
we seem to be at an impasse. all of our choices are bad ones for the
Yes.
relationship between our clan and the fox. So it seems to me that we need to take the one with least damage.
I
And to me,
think
that our relationship with the minor clan that is the Fox Clan is probably a lesser evil than releasing an element of Fuleng and an Oni.
we are 100% in agreement.
Ryutao, where do you stand on this?
I say we try and take down an Oni and free him if we can. I don't know the ways of
How much of this could we tell to Ryoshi? If she understands the risks involved.
The first thing we have to tell her is that we think our father is being guided by a very powerful Oni. And that's going to be a hard thing for her to accept. So I don't think we can say any of this to her. I think we go on the quest for more than one purpose.
You don't think we've proved our honesty to her by this point?
I think we have, but I don't.
Still a big thing to do with a big thing. It's a big step.
Tom, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we've suggested to her yet that we think our father is being. Is anything
No, you
our
haven't.
father? No, I don't think we have. Yeah.
No, you haven't even said that you think that he's under the influence of or being influenced by someone. She's completely unaware of that.
I've only had that discussion with those two Shugenja, haven't I?
Yeah. They're worried, but they don't know about what they haven't got the information that you have.
Mm.
Could we not tell her
Well-
that we believe someone is manipulating and affecting him, and we wish to stop them? This would then keep her safe from knowing that her father openly joined this pact, and more make him a victim,
Yeah,
saving their family shame.
But should we? I don't think.
Andy, microphone.
Sorry.
Andy,
Sorry.
microphone.
Yeah. Apologies. So I think that's a good idea that we tell her, but I think that we possibly only tell her once we've left on the quest, so that she can't pass that information. Because I think there is an agent of this, a servant of this Oni somewhere in the Fox Clan, somewhere else. We
What
don't know who it is.
in addition to the person that Akihiro saw?
I think it is the person that Akihiro saw.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's right.
Sorry, but I think,
Is
so
it-
I don't think the Oni is just here in spirit and talking. I think Akihiro saw a physical worshipper of or servant of the Oni, and it was speaking through him. Is my guess.
Question:
I think it's the only.
Didn't
Personally.
someone go for a midnight walk and spot two people conspiring
That's this conversation.
near the
Yeah,
beginning?
that was the that was the conversation.
So there's more than one.
Well, no, the other was
No, sorry,
No,
that one was the daimyo.
Oh, that was the daimyo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um.
I thought there was another conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Random Hail Marys. The head groundkeeper was really odd. There was something odd about the head groundkeeper. Was that just that he was sort of? Why have I got notes down about the head groundkeeper? Why are we worried about him?
Yeah, but the other thing is I have heard the head groundkeeper's voice,
Yeah, but
and I've seen.
but so was the voice
Following
you heard?
Scooby Doo logic, it's always the groundskeeper.
Yes.
Or the butler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if the Oni is talking through a vessel, you may have heard the Oni's voice coming from the servant, not the servant's voice. But I'm possibly making things more complicated.
The echo is not an aspect of the fact that it's an echo of someone using another vessel. I don't think from what's been told. It's just that's what it sounds like.
Okay.
Exactly. Is it? I agree. We should probably tell Ryoshi after we've left. I wonder. So, as you know, I've spoken to these two Shugenja who were concerned, and you were rightfully kind of surprised that they did speak to me, by the by, or whatever. We need to, or I need to, we need to work out what this pact is. Is it worthwhile before we go, me meeting with them, giving them some of this information, enough that they start some investigations to try to maybe find out what the pact could be, or just not get them involved?
I don't even get involved.
No, that's taking it a step. That's a confidence you can't take them into that confidence.
Yeah,
because they're part of the Fox
was-
Clan.
Yeah. Firstly, it potentially exposes us, and secondly, what happens if you pick what happens if there is more than the Oni here? What happens if there is an agent? You may have picked the wrong person.
Yeah. Thank you.
And also the timescale's not ours to judge, is it? Obviously, Yoshi's talking to her father. I don't know how long we can delay that. It's her Genpuku. It's not
Yeah.
ours to
Mm.
hold her up. You don't know. Perhaps something her father tells her will make her suspicious anyway.
I think we have worn out our options. We know what's going on, and we are more enlightened to deal with the events of tomorrow and beyond.
Right, I'm going to bed then, says Akihiro.
Yeah.
Night sleep will probably do us all well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually a really good place to pause it. And then next time we'll jump straight back into the conversation with Yoshi.
If we remember.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to remind you all to watch
we don't have to have the
this
conversation
as well.
again because we've forgotten.
Yeah, I'm going to remind everybody to watch this episode to remind yourself. Yeah, because you're going to need it. And I'm going to tell B that she needs to watch this episode, especially because you absolute bastards with your dice rolls today. The loss of you. That was ridiculous. I mean, I know you've got the literal plot stick now, which I didn't know was a thing, but it is. Oh my life! Thank you very much, folks.
Really
You've made my day. You truly have. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've seen all these things coming together. It's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Right.
Say good night to everybody.
Thanks to anyone watching.
Netflix.
Thanks.
Hello.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.